Hi everyone! Welcome to our course from Ed2, the Child and Adolescent Learners and Learning Principles. Today we're going to discuss two important concepts in this course, and these are childhood and adolescence. This unit will also give you an overview on why having a critical understanding of the different developmental theories are very relevant for future teachers like you in understanding your students' behavior.
Now let us discuss the definition of a child. Etymologically, as defined by UNICEF, the term child comes from the Latin infans, which means the one who does not speak. In the Philippines, according to Department of Health, child refers to a person below 18 years old or those over but are unable to fully take care of themselves. In developmental psychology, childhood is divided into 5 stages, namely, though definitions may vary. Number 1, neonatal, that is from 0 to 1 month old. Number 2, infancy, from 1 month old to 2 years old. Number 3, toddlerhood, 2 to 3 years old. And number 4 is preschool, 3 to 5 years old. And the last stage is school age, 6 to 12 years old. However, in an article of action for the rights of children in Africa, it is said that there is no universal or exact definition of what a child is. Even age itself is not the only criterion to clearly define it because it may be understood in different contexts. Many developmental theories have varied approaches in discussing it. Aside from considering this as a stage in life that is physical and psychological in nature, how it has been defined is also socially and culturally influenced. Now let us discuss the definition of adolescence. According to United Nations Children Fund, or UNICEF, same with childhood, there is a complexity in defining adolescence because each individual experiences this period differently depending on her or his physical, emotional, and cognitive maturation. In the Philippines, the Department of Health defines adolescents as those young people between the ages of 10 to 19 years old who are in transition from childhood to adulthood. Moreover, the Philippine Pediatric Society subdivided this into 3 stages, namely early adolescence, that is from 10 to 13 years old. Second is middle adolescence, 14 to 16 years old. And lastly, late adolescence, 17 to 19 years old. The issue whether we are a product of either inherited or acquired influences has been a topic of many debates that pertain to human growth and development for many years now. While biological approach tends to give a strong weight to biological influences, behaviorism on the other hand stresses the importance of environment to one's behavior. It may be true that in the recent times, debates about this took a one-sided approach, but as advancement in our society arises, experts tend to recognize the relevance of both factors to the person, that these two factors interact throughout one's life, leading to who that person is right now. This idea is also supported by Jessel's maturational development theory, considered as one of the core pillars of developmental theories. This theory suggests that child's growth and development is a product of the interaction between internal and external factors, environment, and the action of the genes. Jessel called this process maturation. Nature is what we think as a pre-wiring, and it is influenced by genetic inheritance and other biological factors. On the other hand, nurture is generally taken as the influence of external factors after conception. An example is the product of exposure to life experiences. Today, most psychological researchers are now interested in investigating how nature and nurture interact in a host of qualitatively different ways. An example is epigenetics. It is an emerging area of research which shows how environmental influences affect the expression of genes. One of the most important and influential psychologists is Robert Havighurst. He was a professor, physicist, educator, and an aging expert. In 1953, he wrote his book Human Development and Education. In this book, he introduces theory, Robert Havighurst developmental test theory. So what was his theory? He describes developmental tasks as a social expectations. For each stage of development, he divided human lifespan into 6 periods. These are early childhood, middle childhood, adolescence, early adulthood, middle age, and later maturity. He believed for each stage, an individual must achieve success before moving to the next stage in order to find happiness and acceptance by society, or they will mostly likely fail in future stages. According to Berger in 2000, in studying human development, there are 3 approaches that are being used in order to better understand the changes that happens in an individual's life, and these are the following. Number 1 is biological approach. It involves the study of the growth and changes in the physiological aspect of a person. Basically, this includes the body, brain, senses, motor skills, health, and wellness. Next is cognitive approach. It focuses on the study of the process of growth and change in the intellectual, mental abilities, such as thinking, reasoning, and understanding. And lastly, social-emotional approach that focuses on what's going on to the child as he or she develops psychologically and socially. This studies emotions, personality, self-esteem, morality, and relationships, such as how peers becomes very influential for adolescents who are exploring new roles and forming their own identities. Before I end up my video presentation, I would like you to answer this question. Do inherited traits or life experiences play a greater role in shaping your personality? Type your answers on the comment section of this FB page group. If you have questions, queries, feedbacks, you can chat me or you can message me at my email. Thank you and keep safe, everyone.